Howdy folks, TJ here. Do you like Atari? Do you like old Atari vintage gaming systems, computers, even the newer retro modern, but have an old flavor like the current Ataris? I do prefer the older, but I'm not against the newer as well. In fact, I've got an Atari VCS 800 that was gifted to me by Casey Nidal a number of Christmases ago, and I do have it connected to a big 4K TV there. In fact, Casey, I hope you're feeling better because, let me tell you a little story. He was attacked by some zombies. He got bit, and he had to go to the hospital. And the hospital had to take some pieces out of him and put them back together again. And supposedly he should be okay. Hopefully he gets a kick out of that. He did go to the hospital, but not because of a zombie bite. Although I can't say for sure. Maybe he was, because he does play a lot of video games. But anyway, hopefully, Casey, you're feeling better. What we're talking about, Atari. I'm going to use a word here, Atari Society. What's that mean? Atari Society. I've had that URL and name for ages, but I never did it much with it. Just like Sinclair Society, but I've done something with it. In the last number of years, I've made a Facebook group called Sinclair Society that's got over 3,000 members. In my personal hobby life, you've been following my YouTube channel probably for a good 5 years now or more, but I've been mostly doing videos on retro technology for a bit now, and some of you know me as Sinclair Society on the Facebooks, on the YouTubes, and it's because I fell in love with Sinclair computers. Even though I was an Atarian and a USA bloke, I fell in love with it, and I did something, and I made a Facebook group, and I started making lots of videos. So if you're on my channel, you know I make tons of videos about the Specky, and I'll continue doing that. But this year I told myself, you know what, TJ, you've got a number of awesome Ataris. You need to pimp them more. You need to enjoy them more. You need to step back in time more and use the Ataris as well. Don't put other things to rest just because you're going to do that. So I need to figure out how to allot my time. But my Atari Society is coming out in me. It's percolating. Now, I don't have it set up yet, but I locked in on Facebook a long time ago, Atari Society. And I'm thinking now may be the time, because I've got the Atari spirit alive in me, make another Facebook group that's specific for a particular niche, in this case Atari, that will only be for Atari chat, only Atari talk, and I'll do that here in the near future. But that's not what this video is about. I'll make another video about that later. And if I go like this, it's because today is a bad allergy day, and my eyes are, I feel like I'm punched again, but I wanted to get this video out. You're looking at an Atari TT-030 here. Over here, there's an awesome Atari neon sign. I purchased this last year. Behind it is a Mega 2 ST. Over there is a Mega STE. I've got all these other computers in the other room that you can't see. I've got a 520 ST, the original style that doesn't have a floppy in it. I've got a 1040 ST. The only one that eludes me is the 520 and 1040 STEs. I've never owned one of those, but I got a Mega STE, which in my opinion is a little bit sleeker and cooler, but I wouldn't mind getting some of those other ones one day. Of course, you know I've got tons of Atari 8-bit, the 400. Well, I've got the 2600 as well, but in terms of computers, the 400, the 800, the 600 XL, the 800 XL. I got rid of my 1200 XL, dumbass. So I need to get one of those again. I've got a 130 XE. I had a 65 XE, but I got rid of that one too. I've got an XEGS. What am I missing? A Lynx. I had an Atari Jaguar with a CD unit, and I sold that for a decent amount of money a while back ago. Probably, was it 5 years ago? I forget. It was before I got back into the retro, so it's older than that. It's probably 7, 8 years ago. I kicked myself for getting rid of that too, but this video is a lot about me kicking my ass because I got rid of shit that I'm buying again. But anyway, I'm in the Atari mode right now, and I want to capitalize my time and use it as much as possible. So I've been redecorating my office just a little bit because I want to have everything set up, most of it. I can't have everything because I don't have enough real estate in this 10 by 17 or 12 by 14 room, whatever it is. I can only have so much, but in the middle of my office, it is a little jam-packed. I'll admit, it's not the It's orderly, but it's not orderly. It's organized disorganization. But I have a 6-foot long kitchen style table in my office that I just, it kind of makes the room cramped, but I can easily slide from behind the camera over here and play with some of my Ataris. So I've been working on that a little bit lately, and it's been rejuvenating and reminiscing about how much fun I had with the Atari back in the day. So my goal for this year is to have as many of my Ataris set up at one time so I can go over and turn them on. What I can't, I'll make a nice hot swappable area that will be a staging area to take this one out and put another one in. I have to still do some of that. And along the way, I think I'm going to bring to life the Atari Society on a Facebook group, because I do love Facebook. I love communicating with others. There's not thousands, but there's a lot of Atari groups already, and I'm part of almost every single one. But I kind of do things a little bit different. In my society, I basically, there are rules, there's stipulations, but I don't put up with bullshit. That's the one thing I don't put up with. If you're there to cause problems, if you're there to just rant and rave about everything, about other companies and shit, I just say, okay, warning, don't do that. This is a fan club. It's basically friends chatting. Sure, we may have disagreements once in a while, but be courteous. If you're here and arguing all the time, I'm going to just kick your ass out. It's that simple. We're the king of our Facebook groups, and we can do that. I don't pull up with bullshit too well. So it's like, if you're there to have fun, great. If you're there to learn and share, perfect. So my group's a little bit different, and I call it a society because there's a society of people that are weird and fun and cuckoo. I don't like that, because there's good old, let's just throw out some names there. Sean down in the corner, normally he's flashing people because he's a crazy dude, and he's a particular part of our community, and he has his own personalities. There's me, and I've for surely got mine. Then there's Bob over here, that he's got his particular medical knowledge, and he brings in certain parts of the equation. It's a society of people that make things fun, and it's only as fun as you try to help it be. If you sit in the corner and do nothing, don't expect the group to pick up your slack. You need to become part of the group. And that's where I think the Sinclair Society has shined. There's a handful of few of people that most of the time communicate and post, and there's a lot of lurkers, like in anything. But the whole purpose of that was to just have a fun group, and it's worked out really well. So I will at some point, not today, but in the future, bring the Atari Society to life. Meanwhile, this first video, we're calling it Atari Society number 1. I guess I'll call it that. What the hell? We're going to chat about what I've been up to and what's to come, because I have a lot of stuff in the hopper. I've been ordering stuff. I've been buying stuff. No big price items, but things to bring this all together. So maybe I'll take my camera off the tripod here in a moment, but then again, maybe not. You're probably seeing things well enough. Atari TT-030 right here. Atari Falcon over here. Mega 2 ST over here with a Mega File 30 underneath it. I've got 2 displays. After I play around with some things, I plan on putting 2 monitors on it, because you could use a monitor master and switch between the monochrome and the color. I can't do that at the moment because I've run out of real estate. Why? Because I got a big 30-inch LCD TV connected to my TT. Why so big, TJ? Why did you do something smaller? Well, I did. If you've been watching my channel, I have a PTC 1426 that was built to properly fit on a TT, but it's been, for many years now, a little glitchy. You'll be watching the video and you'll see some lines pop up, and color was blue and then kind of a little different, and it's kind of fluctuating. So it's on its leg of, yeah, I'm old, you're going to put up with this stuff, and I didn't want to put up with it anymore. I want to try to dial this in. I've got a whole bunch of VGA displays in the house, but Atari VGA is a little bit different. It's like you connect the VGA display to it, but the video's shifted over, and you got to tweak things. I found one out of all of the monitors worked, but this big TV is one it's a Westinghouse 30-inch. I've had it for 15 years. It's been in the back room, and I thought, what the hell, try it. It, out of all of them, makes this screen pop, and it looks overall pretty good. Still a little shifted. It's not perfect. So I'm going to be exploring other options, and eventually this TV will probably go the way of the dodo, because underneath this table, I've also got storage. I take it, when you're minimizing, you take advantage like a Tetris. You put things under tables, you put tablecloths over tables to hide what's under the table. Did you, as a kids, go underneath the table and share stuff with other friends? Anyway, I've got a 17-inch Apple Multiple Scan 17. I have an adapter coming to me, and I'm hoping that it will actually connect with this. I'm going to explore the OSSC, open source, something. Anyway, it's a device that lets you connect older video game computers and systems to modern HDMI displays. I'm going to explore buying one of those. I don't have one ordered yet, but I'm going to explore that because this works well, but it's not quite right. It's a little shifty. I'd prefer to turn everything on and it just work and not have to play around with too many controls. So I've been getting my TT030 dialed in. I installed multi-toss. The first time I've ever, in all my years, used a multitasking operating system on an Atari. I left the world of a... Did I start this recording? Oh, that's a nice... I'm seeing a glare of the Atari logo right there. I think I did. But we'll just keep talking, and then half an hour later, I'll figure I didn't do it. Anyway, I left the world of Atari back in mid-90s when I saw the writing on the wall. I knew they were going out of business. I moved on to Mac. I got rid of freely all my old Atari stuff like a dumbass, gave it to Goodwill or whatever. But I left that Atari on my Mega 2 TOS 1.04. That's where I left it. I knew there were newer ones out there. There was 206 and all these other ones. I never, even the 1.6s, I never dealt with any of those. And I never dealt with the multitasking multi-toss. So I purchased a copy from B&C when I purchased Leonard. Leonard is my Atari TT030. I named it Leonard. You can kind of think why, and I made a video about it. Anyway, I've got some upgrades that I want to do to this. But first is I've been installing stuff on the hard drive. I've got multi-toss installed. It actually works, and it looks cool. And as I've been doing it in the last few days, I'm just having a great time. It's bringing back so many good memories of that. That's a Mega 2 ST, the first ST I purchased. I didn't get a 1985 520 or 1040. I waited for a pizza box style Mega 2. I love the hell out of it, so technically that was my first one. It's not the original one, because dumbass TJ got rid of it years ago for free to somebody, I don't know where, but I've had to buy it all over again. I bought this from, or at least part of it, from a dude up in Washington. Hi, dude. I'm trying to remember, was it Tempest? Tempest rings a bell. I think he's the guy in Washington. I bought it from him and actually drove all the way up there. We were on vacation, and I picked it up from him. I've added to it. I've got a Spectre GCR right here, that I make that into a good old System 6 computer to run Mac software. So I wanted to have what I started with in terms of the ST, where I kind of had been ending up, TT030, Falcon. In the middle, I had a Mega 2 no, not Mega 2. Is that the 2 model? I think, let me look. It doesn't say, it's just the Mega STE. I don't remember if I've got 2 or 4 megabytes of RAM in that. I think it's only 2. Anyway, I've moved that. It was here. I've moved it over here on a big 4K TV. From Europe, I have an RGB to SCART cable that's been ordered, that's coming. I'm going to connect that up to a big screen TV to play. In my opinion, the Mega STE is the top of the line 520/1040/STE, all of them combined together. The best one you can get. It's 16 megahertz or 8 megahertz. You can choose. It's really the bee's knees in terms of ST, right? So I'm going to connect that and use that as my gaming area, and we'll show that in the future as well. But I've got my Mega STE there. Over behind me, I'm going to move some of this conglomeration. I'm going to connect my Atari 800. So I have my very first computer I purchased, 1980, Atari 800. No, it's not the original one I bought, but it's a replacement that I purchased a number of years ago that I've been enjoying for a while. I'm going to have that here behind me, Atari 800, connected to a big old RCA 27-inch TV. Yes, good old CRT. Next to it, a Mega STE, a Falcon, a TT, a Mega 2 ST, and then I'll find an area that I can hot swap a 130 and an XL and just have a grand Atari time. I really feel it right now. I've got some upgrades. This I'm going to be upgrading with a lot more memory. That I'm going to do this year. My Falcon I've got from Mr. Grove. Yeah, I haven't forgot you, and I have that 14 megabytes of RAM over in a box someplace. I never did install it. I've got a hard drive installation kit for the Falcon. Never installed that. I bought that from someplace else. PNC I got it from. So there's a lot of things I haven't done because my time has been consumed with Specky, Sam Coupe, TI-99, Aquarius, all the other 8-bits you've been seeing on my channel. You know I do a lot. I get a lot of shit done, but that sometimes means I put some other things off. And my Atari stuff has been off a little bit. Not big, but I have never jumped in as much as I'm about to jump in. And I'm trying to let you people know that. So look for the future. I'll make a video about Atari Society. It will be a Facebook group that you can come join. There's tons of Atari groups that know a hell of a lot. Mine's going to be more tailored towards, hey, TJ's got a YouTube channel. Here's a repository of shit that guy talks about, and make a little community. And before you know it, it's going to be like, hopefully, Sinclair Society that's got 3,000 plus members. Or then again, it will only be a small group of 5 or 10 people, me and some of my doppelgangers in there, and maybe no one's going to enjoy it and join. But we'll see. I think I'm going to make it, but we're going to start at least as video serials. Video serials? Hey, that sounds like a cereal. Cereal? I'm hungry for cereal. Anyway, Atari Society. Number 1, I think I'm done. Let me quickly show you just the lighting's not on too well. Oh, by the way, I've never in my life used, other than at work back in the 90s, a zip drive. I have this brand new one I purchased from Weird Stuff in San Jose back in 2000 something, early 2000s. I don't know, is Weird Stuff even open still? It is a computer, it's like a museum of shit, but it's shit you can buy. And I've got this brand new zip drive, never used, that I'm going to install and connect to my TTO30. Why? Why not? That's the way I look at it. Let me take the camera off, and let me turn off the lighting over here too. And then we'll wrap up this video. And I can't show you everything in the room because it is a little crazy, but here is the new area for the Mega 2. There's the zombie Casey Neidal. I hope he's not a zombie. VCS 800. I've got my Mega STE connected to a big 4K screen TV. I'm waiting on a cable. I did try RF out on this. Oh, did it look bad. So I'm hoping the SCART to RGB going through an HDMI adapter will make this shine, but we'll see. And then eventually, this is a little messy over here. Move your eyes beyond the mess, but hey, there's a Mac chick. I've got the coolest RCA color track TV. You'll see that I got my Atari 800 up on top of it, and I've got fun little knickknacks that I've collected over the years. But I think I'm going to move some of this stuff and get my 800 set up right here so I can enjoy 8-bit as it should be on a CRT. Then over here, I've got my Mega ST2. You'll see that I've got tons of hard drives for my Ataris. This is supposed to be a Windows seat, but it's storage right now because I'm trying to figure out where to put stuff. But I've got tons of super drives that I'm going to figure out how to connect all this stuff up. And I've got this right here. This is where I started. My first ST. It was a Mega 2 ST. And I've got my TTO30 right now connected to a big 30-inch LCD TV. And then over here, around the corner, is probably the top of the line, most wanted Atari, the Falcon, with my Ultimate Bastard joystick, connected to a cool Crosley-style, retro-style TV. So, yeah, that's it. Let me put this back on here, and then we'll wrap up this video. That good? Okay, good. So, let's wrap up. Do I have anything else? Oh, yeah, I've ordered Farallon. You know, Apple Talk? Apple Talk for the old Apples for networking. Guess what has an Apple Talk port? Does it do Apple Talk? No. But does it have an RS-422 or whatever you call it, an Apple Talk connector? Yes. TT has it. The Mega STE has it. The Falcon has it. Guess what? A lot of people chat about, can you use that port? No, it's not operational. Yes, it's operational. I've used it before. I'm going to be exploring that in the future. I've ordered 2 Farallon phone net style adapters that connect to the good old Apple Talk ports, and via a telephone cord, you can network them together. I'm going to be exploring that, so I've ordered that from eBay. MIDI. Do you love MIDI? Atari people love MIDI. Well, I want to play MIDI Maze. Even if I have to convince my wife just one day to say, honey, I love you, but you got to play with a computer game with me, I'm going to set up some of my Ataris, and we're going to do MIDI Maze. So I've ordered, first ever, I've never owned a MIDI device before. I've never owned a MIDI cable. I just purchased 3 MIDI cables because I'm going to tie 2 to 3 Ataris together via MIDI. You can also network off of MIDI, believe it or not, and I'll be exploring that. But I'm going to play some MIDI Maze. I don't think I've ever played it. I've seen it at Atari shows, but I never sat down and actually played MIDI Maze networked together with other people. So I'm going to do that with you. What else have I ordered? The VGA adapter for my Apple multiple scan. No idea if it even works anymore, but it's a great 17-inch monitor. And the RGB SCART cable, that's coming from overseas as well. I think that's it. So anyway, Atari Society. There you go. Hopefully you join when the time comes. But for now, Atari Society is just going to be the names of these videos. This is number 1. Welcome and goodbye.